It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. She off your mind. Like me.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Him go touchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun Diary Politico, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun Diary Politico, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not they off in mind, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun Diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo.
Hello there.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀, la mọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀, la mọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Maiyegun ti
Good morning to you.
Maiyegun Diary.
Good afternoon to you.
lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
And good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Maiyegun Live.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Bó bá ṣe àní Maiyegun máa wí.
Thank you so much for joining me. Share this broadcast. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Maiyegun today and tonight, simply because we've been skipping, like we've been skipping our sermons lately. You all know why. However, it means that tonight is also going to be very loaded. So before you get so settled in that comment section, please share the broadcast, okay? It's going to be interesting. I can promise you that.
Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number one.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Kolu has responded to Peter Obi's petition. The legal battle is about to start. And it's always good to have an idea about what they are all bringing into the ring. Through Maiyegun's Diary Politico, I can make it interesting for you, save you all the mental stress. I mean, anything that is going to alter or kind of mess up with your mental health. with MaiyegunsDiary Politico, you have a better understanding, and at the same time, you are likely going to be able to manage your expectation. People have told me it works. Share this broadcast. Just tell them that Maiyegun today.
And yes,
Thank you. Last week, Peter Obi was in London. When we saw the video of him in a church on that Sunday, when the pastor, right, addressed him as president, and then they were like, oh no, sorry. There are more than what you saw in that viral video. Peter Obi is being impersonated in the UK. There is one Peter Obi in the UK with the same information as Peter Obi committing crimes and wanted in the UK. Nobody knew about this. I mean, not until now. That Peter Obi on his way to the UK at Heathrow Airport, he was handed a detention paper. And when people were asking, why are you harassing him? Why are you doing this? Right? It was so kind of embarrassing for them too, the immigration there. But somehow they were able to tell everybody that they were investigating a Peter Obi that is currently at large. Something is cooking. You are dealing with an international cartel and organized criminals that have now taken over Nigeria. We will all be declared wanted by all means. Are you ready? Meanwhile, we will review Kalu's response. It's so interesting, right? There is a 293-page defense. In one of them, inside there, Kalu did not deny that he was convicted of heroin trafficking in America, that he forfeited $460,000 from those accounts. It did not deny. But what his lawyers are now telling the tribunal, or they are going to be telling the tribunal, is that, listen, the only thing there is that the case is against the bank accounts, not Kalu Tinubu himself. That is one. That's why I said we're going to review this tonight. And there are more. However, Chimamanda Adichie is in Nigeria. Remember that letter when people were saying that she should be charged for treason, sedition, and all that? Well, she's in Nigeria. And she reaffirmed everything she said in that letter on Nigerian TV, right there in Nigeria, and responded as well to Professor Wale Soyinka's fascist statement. Is so interesting. And in other part of in other news rather, Wike versus Dino Melaye, Clownery Dino versus Wike, that can be a little bit of icing on the conversation tonight. So if you haven't shared this broadcast, it's okay. Now you should, just before you finally settle down, and we can get started again.
Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta. Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo
ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra ṣùgbọ́n ní má ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n ní ràn.
Tẹ̀lé ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ̀ lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀gọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹ̀ ni kò sì mọ́ bóyá àìsíwọ́lú ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹ̀yìn lábàrá ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì í. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì í o. Ẹ̀yin bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní bí wọ́n ní ràn o.
Thank you. Now let us get started. There is no bulaba or balabulu explaining the state of things in Nigeria before the advent of the obedient. Elections in Nigeria are expected to be rigged. The highest rigger or the best rigger is the winner in Nigeria elections. So for years, this singular reason is why many have decided not to be part of any of their electoral process or politics entirely. Now leaving politics for criminals, charlatans, moneybags, drug barons, and men of the underworld running the affairs of Nigeria. But somehow, they sing song for revolution is looming in Nigeria. Nigeria is going to witness revolution soon. Oh, this whole thing is going to lead to revolution now. They staged one of the best scam, or should I say one of the best electoral heists. They staged that in 2023 and millions of people believed them. But the difference is this, right? When the young people took debate to challenge the status quo, change the status quo, possibly change their own life. But the reality started settling in when these young people are now faced with the greatest denier of all time. After they were deceived to participate, don't go and do revolution. Oh. Don't go and join them to protest. Oh. If you are not happy with the way Nigeria is being governed, go and get your PVC. Go and join politics and contest. And if you can't do any of that, you can leave Nigeria, go and find another place to live. These are the options that the establishment in Nigeria gave us. You either just stay and accept it and live with it, or go and get your PVC, go and contest elections, and then go and, whatever. Because they believe that when they tell you to go through the right channel in Nigeria, it is simply because they are the people who have mounted the toll gates on the right channel. So when you decide to go and follow the right channel to challenge the status quo, when you get there, you will realize that the right channel is controlled by them. There is no way out. It is the same when they say, if you lose elections, go to courts. Just like when a thief steals your own goods and he tells you to go to court, do you need any soothsayer to tell you that his brother or his own sister is the judge? That's exactly what the establishment had in mind when they staged the worst of the worst electoral haste to scam a generation again. Now, they thought they would go away, but they are not going away. Now, the establishment is back in full force to crush this once and for all. And let me remind you something. Like before, Tobati, when they rig you, go back to your house and cry. Try again next time. That's the usual way. Let's move on. But you see, these young people who were not motivated by money, they were not motivated by any reward, either complimentary or political reward or anything. They just wanted something different. They don't even care if they are making a mistake. But if you promise them that their vote will count, then they are counting on that. Now, if you're now living in denial, they are not going to let go. That's what brought about the gaslighting. That's what brought about the propaganda. That is what brought about the profiling now. And it's going to get worse. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how to say that to you, right? But let's do the review first. That's the part that is going to take a longer time. So to make you understand, I'm not going to be reading through everything, okay? Because he is responding to all the allegations, right, by Peter Obi on why he must be disqualified and why they must declare him, Peter Obi, the winner. Now, to make you understand this very well, for now, I want you to, for a moment, forget all the propaganda they have told you. Forget all the conspiracy theories you have heard, okay? Let's just use what is verifiably available. I mean, even if they are lies, they are like a verified lies presented by the parties involved. For now, when I read that their defense, I got only one thing. Tinubu doesn't give a damn about all of this noise. The rigging and the rest of that, no. He's not interested in that. They are counting on what they call the technicalities. They are looking for what mistake they can find in how Obi and his people filed their petition or anything at all they can find in their own petition. Tinubu is not defending anything. That's what I see in this, okay? It's like somebody saying, I don't give a damn. Don't listen to whatever they are saying. Okay? My Lord, forget about all of that. The issue of identity. There is a court judgment in 1999 to cover that. So there's no point in wasting our time on that. In fact, you see this issue of drug and all of that. They just want to use it to tarnish his image. My Lord, just throw that in the bin. Oh, my Lord, listen. Do you even know that this Peter Obi and his vice, they are not members of Labour Party before they were nominated as a candidate of the Labour Party? My Lord, they are not supposed to even be here. This whole thing is nonsense. Drop it in the trash. Just like that. Despite all the weighty 5-point allegations and demand that Peter Obi made in his own petition, right? So that is why I'm going to let you be the judge too, okay? This is him responding back to everything that they put up. Oh, he's a drug dealer. Oh, he's a convicted drug baron. No. His lawyers are saying, of course, they convicted him of drug trafficking in America. But the person that got convicted is not Tinubu. It is Tinubu's bank account. Like, my Lord, let me tell you something. This is America. This is how it works in America, okay? If they feel like something is wrong because you are associated with people and they found some money in your bank, I mean, they don't do anything to you, my Lord. They just say, this morning call, we are charging this bank account. Not Tinubu or more, despite this over 75% court document that is available everywhere. You can choose to be blind to it, okay? But again, let's just take them on their merit. Okay, let's start with this. This is the longest part. And I'm going to do my best to make it interesting so that it's not going to look like, oh, this is all reading. Maiyegun, go ahead to another thing. No. I want you to pay attention. You don't need to read the entire thing. You just need to see the highlights. From Peter Obi stuff, the Labour Party people, they said that Kolu, from their own tally and confirmed numbers from Beavers, okay, that Kolu scored less than what INEC allocated to him. In fact, it's so bad for APC and Kolu that the original result, if they are really collated and all that, it was so bad that Kolu only scored 25% in 21 states only. 21, not even up to 24. They lost almost everywhere that they could have used as a normal base. They lost Kano, they lost Katsina, they lost Kaduna, they lost Lagos, they lost, they lost places that they didn't believe. And the whole place they got rigged, they are there to say, oh no, we're going to prove it that it didn't win them. Sure you get. So they said that only 21 states, that by the time they do all the INEC declared that Tinubu have 25% in 30 states. Sure you get, but not in Abuja, the FCT. So they started the argument of and. Sure you get to say and. What does that mean? And no, it doesn't mean anything. And FCT. Oh, what they mean is that Nigeria is 37 states. Anyway, the argument is based on that, and many others. Oh, sure you get. But let's start with this. The first page of their response. Kolu. Meanwhile, Kolu has appointed this transition team. They are already planning their inauguration. I just thought I should let you know. And they believe that there is no court that can stop him. Very strongly believe that. So this is the petition, between Peter Obi, Labour Party, INEC, Tinubu, and the rest of them. Are you with me? So some said this is just something to just buy time. Here you get something to buy time. They know that the main intention is to drag this for long, okay, until Kolu is inaugurated as your president next month. You are all going to be so angry again. I know it's going to be so painful second time. Maiyegun, forget it. They are not going to inaugurate him. That's why I said, for now, I want you to leave all of the things you've heard. Propaganda is flying everywhere, okay? APC, PDP, Labour, and others, okay? Everybody is fighting propaganda with propaganda, no doubt, all right? And they are making projections too. But the only people in that advantage position that their own projection can be taken 100% are the people who plotted this from the word go. Some of you are not prepared for this. I remember when I was saying that, hey, listen, are you sure that you are really prepared that when they rigged you out, that you are actually going to be ready for this next stage of the war? Because these ones, they're not going to rig you out and then go away. They're going to rig you out and they're going to hunt you down because they have seen what they have done and they would never want to experience this again. Trust me, if they got away with this, if they managed to get away with this, they would never want to experience this again. They will chase every one of you down every part of the world that they can chase you to, until you will not have that kind of courage to organize this level of movement again. They identify you, they acknowledge you as, they said you are like an obedient tsunami, obedient wave. This is coming from them. Bayo Ononuga said, now enough, leave us alone. The obedient wave that swept through Nigeria, shook everybody, fine, but Nigeria has survived. That means they survived. The establishment survived. Leave us alone. They acknowledge that. Now, the effort now is to work to make sure that they crush you. And all they have to do is to target few people, chase some people down, put in all that. And to delay in achieving that, what do they need? They just need to respond 4 days to the end of the deadline. And then when the tribunal sits, so the argument will be whether they should proceed or not, whether this one is qualified or not. As these are going back and forth, Kolu will be inaugurated, even if they have to put him on a wheelchair or on a stretcher. They will put him there, even if they have to gas him up for that day to be able to at least withstand all the whole stress that will come with it. They will do it. And that's all they need. Swearing in. Somebody, the CJN, the one that is going to sit at the Supreme Court, is the one that is going to swear Kolu in. And with what you know, So they will swear him in. Now, the real fight, the real thing, Let's go back onto it. His response, one by one. So according to them, I don't want to read too much of this, but I want to go to where they started highlighting the arguments, and then they started defending them. The problem is that which court is going to grant that? Do you understand? Somebody said that can't a court order stop that? A court order, right? That is going to stop the inauguration, right? It's going to be a court order that, number one, it is possible. To answer your question, yes, it is possible. A court order that will stop him will automatically put Nigeria in constitutional crisis. Sure you get? Because by May 29, whatever happens, right? Bukwari would have to leave. He would have to go. You understand? Except there is a chaos. Now, this is the scenario where a court can stop Tinubu inauguration. Just a scenario. I'm not a lawyer, but just reason with me, okay? If a court order comes before May 29, for example, and says Tinubu's inauguration is illegal, it can't stop. So they will want to do something called accelerated hearing on it, okay? If it is coming from the establishment themselves, last minute sabotage, right? Then they will accelerate it as they accelerate it to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court will then say, okay, it must not be inaugurated. That's demo. Sure you get now. It must not be inaugurated. But what will happen after that will be the chaos, the crisis. With the tension you have seen so far, okay, the crisis will erupt in Southwest, in the, in Northeast, in Northwest, and some other part of Nigeria. Most of them will be orchestrated by APC themselves. Now, like I said, if it is the establishment that is behind the court case to stop him, they will be the one to facilitate it to the Supreme Court to certify it. By so doing, the Minister of Justice in Nigeria, Abubakar Malamu, by law, would need to draft a quick new, something like a bill or something, right? That will be passed through the National Assembly. That will then give Bukwari an extended power. That's one. They will say Buhari should stay longer than May 29 for another 6 months until the court decide the case, or this case, until the court decide the winner. So Buhari will stay for another 6 months by law, and they will stop at the National Assembly, no nothing or a view, except if they put themselves in. You may be asking me which part of the law says this. I may not be able to say it specifically, but there are laws that give Buhari power to extend his stay in that office. For example, if there is crisis in Nigeria, where he can now declare a state of emergency. Now, if the crisis starts, as it will be expected, right? As the crisis starts, right, people started attacking themselves, killing themselves, it will be an automatic state of emergency. Once he declares a state of emergency, the state governors, state assemblies, and the rest of them, they will all go. Except if they actually include them in their, wherever they're going to push. So it's a very, very, very extensive one. A real constitutional crisis. And constitutional crisis can lead to a coup, or above it all, the final breakup of Nigeria. Don't take this as something that is like a flippant, or don't take it flippantly. It's actually a serious question when somebody asks that question. But think about what I said too. It will put Nigeria in a serious constitutional crisis, a big serious other crisis. But the only way to succeed is if the Bukwari themselves are behind it. For now, Tinubu and gang, they have captured Nigeria judiciary. You can take that to the bank. There's so much at stake. It is no longer about Tinubu anymore. That is somehow something that some of you should know now. Here you get, he robbed, they rigged, they killed, and it seems they want to force him on you and the rest of that. It is no longer about him anymore. It's not about Tinubu being wanting to be president anymore. It's about the vested interest, both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, who have now built sort of a fence around him. He has become that symbol that is going to lead them into the resources of Nigeria. Do you get that? So it's not just him fighting or going to be fighting anymore. It's going to be others who are going to be pulling other strings. That even most of them are not, they don't even have direct contact with him. It is now like the establishments now are kind of moving to that direction. Don't take my word for that on that, okay? Remember I said, the only way to work is if those who have the power now are those behind it. But if it is to say somebody from outside their circle go to court, they have already captured that court. It's not going to fly. You may receive a breaking news. The court says they must not inaugurate him. A Supreme Court, just like the Naira change. You remember that Naira change, eh? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the one that some of you have somehow love to hate now. No thanks to Nigeria. With what they have done and with the ability to stage the violence attack in the eastern Nigeria, yes, they have made you believe that he therefore is already guilty. But in the face of their own law, despite the fact that they control their own courts, he defeated them there. They denied him that justice. 5 months now, they have not heard his case in that Supreme Court. 5 months. But guess what? Within a space of 2 weeks, they were able to give the likes of APC governors who wanted to use the old Naira note for election rigging and vote buying and the rest of that. Yeah, the Supreme Court of Nigeria was able to give them accelerated hearing in days because election is so close. Remember, they will do the same, and that is what a state capture means. When justice will not, they won't listen to anything you have to say, and that is what Nigeria has become. I will go to court. I will sue you. The situation in Nigeria has gotten to a stage whereby, even though there are courts, there are court judgment, there are court orders. In Nigeria, whether it is state government or local government or federal government in Nigeria, they choose the kind of court judgment they want to obey, and there's no consequences. This is true. Nigeria is not a place you say, oh, I want to go for my rights and all of that. Yes, you can go. Yes, the court can give you your judgment. The problem is, who is going to execute the judgment? The court? Or what? That is the situation Nigeria has got. So it has gotten to a stage whereby justice is now it's not like a lottery, you know. Justice is like to seek justice and get justice in Nigeria. It's like a lottery. Remember that, right? So some of you who believed in their charade INEC, even when I said you shouldn't, you still took the step or the leap of faith, as some of you will say. Now, a lot of you knows that their court is corrupt. You know their court is compromised. But somehow, there are still some of you who believe that the court will do the right thing. I don't know where that is coming from. But again, that is your own prerogative. It is your complete right. I just want to help you manage your expectation, okay? I don't want you to get so carried away with influencers telling you things you want to hear, simply because they also, of course, they have all the evidence, they have all the facts, they have all the documents. In Nigeria, they don't look at facts. They don't look at the evidence per se, especially in a case where the establishment and the vested interests are indeed very interested. Where the stake is high, nobody is interested in facts that much. So how about you manage that expectation? I mean, I don't have any. So let's go take a look at what the Kolu's defense are on all of these allegations, okay? So if you are just joining, this is Maiyegun, Maiyegun's Diary Politico, where opinions are free and then, you know, people are allowed, right, to learn and unlearn, and at the same time, agree to disagree or disagree to agree, whatever it is. It's all learning. You are not compelled, right, to take everything you listen to on this program, hook, line, and sinker. There might just be a bit of a way for you to even do more research, find out more about what you hear on MaiyegunsDiary Politico. It helps, okay? So the petition, now, this is the first one. According to APC, Egbekegbe Tinubu's lawyers, they said the first petitioner lacks the requisite locus standi to initiate or institute the instant petition, not being a member of the second petitioner. Peter Obi doesn't have locus standi to even file any petition, according to APC, when he is not even a member of Labour Party. So this is them talking about the time Peter Obi joined, I mean, the first petitioner was not a member of Labour Party, and then the mandatory provision of the law, all of these have already been like washed, okay? There are even evidence. All of you are not lawyers, okay? There are even evidence of this section being cleared. That a senior advocate of Nigeria, who already know this, decided to put that in their petition defense, shows that they are probably not serious, okay? They are just kind of, okay, let's just put something forward. Anyway, that's their own defense to why they are not really supposed to be engaging Peter Obi. They're not supposed to be engaging him, okay? Because it's not even a member. Now, for the second one, they say petition, Atiku's petition. The petition is improperly constituted by the non-joinder of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. So the APC lawyer said, Peter Obi's petition is watery. It's nonsense. Because he didn't join Atiku Abubakar in that, in his petition. Okay? So you can read that if you don't have the copy, okay? You can just look at your screen right there. It said that paragraph, this is them trying to respond. Though. Remember, they are responding to petition of Obio. And this is the opening part of it, all right? That he did not join. He said, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar must be heard before his votes can be discountenanced by the tribunal. So according to them, that Peter Obi failed to add Atiku when he was petitioning tribunal for Tinubu. Because before they can even get to Obi, they must count Atiku's votes. And it is only when the Atiku's vote is short, that's when they will now get to Obi. So because Obi didn't do this, it's just wasting its time. Now they said the petition as presently constituted is challenging the vote cast at the election, seeking inter alia the nullification of the entire election, thereby challenging the votes attributed not only to himself, but also those votes attributed to the second respondent who emerged winner. That's Tinubu. And those attributed to Atiku Abubakar. So according to them, they said that the petition is also confusing. That on the one hand, Obi wants the tribunal to cancel the election of Atiku, the election of Tinubu, and also his own election. Okay? Then at the same time, he's also asking the court to declare him winner. So on which election, according to them, which votes would the tribunal now use to declare him winner when they have already cancelled all the elections? This is them trying to act stupid, by the way. There are prayers, 5 prayers in Obi's petition, okay? And then in his petition, he was saying that if the valid votes, the original votes, we say can be verified, are really counted, that he had more votes than all of them, Atiku and Tinubu, that he should be declared winner if that is done, which means they should recount everything and see how many votes. INEC should come and show where they got the number for Tinubu, sure you get. And he will now kind of dispute those numbers, that when they do the plus and minus, front and back, he is confident that he has more than Atiku. So if that criteria is used, they should declare him winner. You get, by cancelling the votes they gave to when they recount Tinubu's vote, it will reduce. When they recount Atiku's vote, it will reduce. Now, when they recount his own vote will be more because they rigged him and they changed his number. And he gave 2 examples. In fact, he gave 3 examples or more. He spoke about Rivers State. He spoke about Lagos State. And he also spoke about Plateau State. That if his real vote in these 3 states were genuinely counted and delivered, right? In which he himself did actually had some numbers. I scored this here, we scored that there, and we will prove it. He believed that instead of him scoring 6.1 million votes, he actually scored 8.3 million votes, not 8.9 that they give to Kalu. He said his total vote is over 8.3 million. Atiku's vote is over 4 million. While Tinubu's vote is just a paltry 2-point-something million, and he will prove it. Except INEC will come out and say, this is the number, this is where we got it from. Meanwhile, INEC himself is also standing trial for violating his own rules in his own supposed election, changing the game, then denying in the same election. So this whole thing that they are trying to make it look like is confusing. No. That's when people were saying that, is this a joke? Are these people actually son? Are they actually senior advocate of Nigeria? Or they just put all this together just to buy time until things get to the proper place and all that? Or people don't understand. So the third one, people are like, waiting concern Atiku with Obi. Waiting concern Obi and all that, yeah? So they said the petition and or the identified paragraphs are in breach of the mandatory provisions of the paragraph, blah, 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 blah. I won't bore you with all of this. These are not interesting parts, okay? There are more interesting parts. Just pay attention, right? So also, they said the Honorable Tribunal lacked the requisite jurisdiction to entertain pre-election complaints. So now they are talking about some of the things that Obi want to use, right, to disqualify Kalu. For example, Kalu's drug dealing and conviction and forfeiture of over 460,000 US dollars. According to them, they are just pre-election stuff. So these are the things that should have been done by INEC. So INEC should have ordinarily that all the security agents in Nigeria, all of them who did background check on all the all the candidates. It was pre-election. They were supposed to have done all of that. So if they cleared him, and INEC eventually allowed him to run, these are pre-election. They are nothing. Now, that's an argument that some people said they are going to use to free Tinubu from this tension, wahala of the obedient and the obi. Whatever you are saying about Tinubu, oh, he did this, he did that, whatever, according to his lawyers, they are pre-election matters. And in the face of Nigeria law, they don't matter. And the tribunal doesn't have the jurisdiction. Really? Okay. Now, that is on the alleged complaints of disqualification, nomination, sponsorship, and all of that, right? Even though they are also asking the tribunal, okay, to disqualify Obi because he's not a member of Labour Party. He's not this or that. And on the other, on another hand, they are telling the same tribunal that the tribunal should not ask them how Tinubu became candidate, how he got cleared. Whatever is in his past, they should go and ask INEC. And whatever that is pre-election. This is post-election now. What happened now during the election and after is what the tribunal should be dealing with, not what happened before. Do you see that? Anyway, I'm not a lawyer. So let's see. Then we continue to, they said that no facts. Hang on. They said no facts in support of ground of corrupt practices, as facts are required to support corrupt practices, are different from facts of non-compliance. I don't want to confuse you like them, okay? I'm just reading part of their defense, right? So the facts relied on in paragraph 80 to 99 of the petition to ground of a claim to majority of lawful votes by petitioners are academic for failure to set out 2 sets of results from polling units disputed and a tabulation of each of such polling units results to present a propounded valid result and whatever. Again, let me go to the juicy parts. So they are highlighted. According, they said, reply to the petition on merit, save and accept as hereinafter expressly admitted. The fourth respondent, here referred to simply as the respondent, unless otherwise stated, denies each and every allegation of facts contained in the petition as if each of such allegations were set out herein and traversed seriatim, whatever that means. Okay? So Tinubu denies all the allegations that they've leveled against him, the corruption, the drug dealing, the forfeiture, and all that. Okay? He denies everything in the face of the law. Then, keeps going. We're still able to see all this, right? Now, this is the part. They said, okay, hang on. Where is that? Page 19. So I'm going to page 19. Right, page 19. This is demo defending Tinubu's conviction, criminal conviction, okay? In this account, money in the account. Now, according to them, they are like, Tinubu denies paragraph 28, 29, and 30 of the petition and further avers that that Peter Obi was at the, Tinubu was at the time of the election qualified to contest for election to the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They also said the respondent, Tinubu, further avers that the second respondent was never at any point in time fined the sum of $460,000. Hey, that's the denial part. Are you with me? They said Tinubu was never fined $460,000. Rather, they said the United States of America versus funds in account. It is not versus Tinubu. It is versus funds in the account, this account, Heritage Bank. United States government versus funds in account, another one, Citibank. In the name of Bola Tinubu or Compass Finance and Investment Co. United States government versus, instead of versus Bola Tinubu, they are using versus funds held in account number, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. So according to them, the case is not against Tinubu. The drug and heroin trafficking case is against the bank account of Tinubu. That's what they have told the tribunal. Explaining this, they said, the case number 98, blah, 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 right? Versus funds in account number First Heritage Bank, right? A criminal, hang on, they said, that could have resulted in a criminal conviction. Listen, that could have, or that resulted in a criminal conviction. They said that could have, boya told, maybe resulted in. These are the lawyers, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, collecting 15 million naira every month. 15 million naira. Each son you see on Tinubu's list, they get paid 15 million naira every month to defend their call. And this is it. They are telling the people that the issue of money, forfeiture, is not a big deal. It doesn't have anything to do with Tinubu. It is actually against the money in the accounts. Yeah? Hang on. They said the purported decision of the United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois, Eastern Division, in the said case is not a fine, but decree of forfeiture, haba, of the amount of $460,000 to the United States pursuant to the settlement of claim by the parties to the state. Like they are actually saying this to those who are supposed to be lawyers too, or judges. So this is what Senior Advocate of Nigeria are telling judges, that forfeiture is not a big deal. Okay? It's nothing. Really? Anyway, this is now legal. This is the legal document. So what I'm reading back to you right now is the legal document, defense of Tinubu in court. That's when people say that they are not actually trying to defend anything. They have very much confidence, okay, that the court is going to throw everything out. based on technicality, based on anything they can find. Okay? And if anybody not happy with that, go to appeal court. Appeal court will do the same thing. If you are not happy with it, go to Supreme Court. Supreme Court will do the same thing. If you are not happy with it, leave Nigeria. Those are your options, though. But the obedient are saying no, 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 everything, no, 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 and we will not leave Nigeria. So the Wala Yaso, Wala Yaso, senior advocate of Nigeria, senior advocate of nuisance and nonsense. They are being clever by half. So Tinubu has about 57 or 52 lawyers, senior advocate of Nigeria who want to work for him, over 50. And they are paying each of them 15 million naira every month. Than the person where they pay cheapest to. Others said that they are actually being paid in dollars. There are some of them senior ones who pretend to be doing the most work when they are not. But this is the document. It is public, okay? Now, here they are. They repeated the same thing. Tinubu is not sure you get. Now, here is another one. They said, the former clearance report dated February 4, 2003, under the hand of legal attaché to the United States Embassy, Nigeria, in response to the inquiry by the Inspector General of Police, is hereby pleaded and shall be relied upon for its full effect, particularly the portion in the second paragraph which states, in quote, in relation to your letter dated February 3rd, 2003, reference number SR3000, IGP this blah blah blah, regarding Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a records check of Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI National Crime Information Center, NCIC, was conducted. The result of the checks were negative for any criminal arrest, records, warrants, or warrants for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Date of birth. This for information of your departments. NCIC is centralized information center that maintains the record of every arrest and conviction within the United States and its territories. Do you get that? The person who wrote that, according to them, the person who wrote that letter to, who wrote the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria, making an inquiry on the then governor, Bola Tinubu, that was he ever arrested in the U.S.? Was he ever convicted or jailed in the U.S.? Any fingerprint or any mug shots? Because the police in Nigeria is investigating him. And of course, he was not arrested in America. The person who filed in for that request, guess who? Tafa Balogun, the disgraced police IG in Nigeria. Somebody that was so corrupt that he was handcuffed. And when his house was searched, IGP of police, stashing money inside house. He was the worst of them all. He was so disgraced that people started feeling sorry for him. In one of those disgraceful moments of Tafa Balogun, he fell off the prison car. The prison car that was taking him to prison. For some reason, maybe because he was being manhandled and all that, he fell off and he nearly got run over by the same truck, taking him to jail. And people started feeling like, police IG, a disgraced one. But if you want to, now this was 2003, no social media, no internet, it flew well, it worked with the system, and they have kept the letter. But it was in the same America that the right question was asked. The reason why Kolu was not arrested, or there is no record of his arrest in America, was because he already ran away from America when the old net was closing in on him. He thought he was smart. He returned back to Nigeria to go and contest as a senator, just to give himself some level of Nigeria immunity. Sure you get? So that even if they come for him, he would have ordinarily get protected by the establishment. So he was in Nigeria contesting election with drug money when they were arresting his friends in America. In fact, it was actually a long one. So the same Tafa Balogun Nigeria police that wrote the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria in 2003 are now dealing with the generation that actually know how to ask questions. Now they actually have the record of so many other arrests of Tinubu in America and his friends who also went to jail in America. These younger people, this generation, they don't need any fraudulent, disgraced police officer to cover for another drug lord. In this century, trust me, 21st century, and that's the reason why they have to do everything to make sure that they crush you. You are a threat to what they are traditionally used to, lying and manipulating the people. So yeah, people ask, and today you can access all Tinubu's criminal case in America. So that gave him a leverage. They said American law won't let them take over all of his properties. So he bargained. He made a deal. He's not there. Can you just tell us about your friends who are also drug dealers in this America? And we can cut you a deal. Our law won't let us take all the money. The law says we can only take less than $500,000 from that money, and the rest goes to you. But here is the thing. If you are willing to work with us and tell us others, and they said that Tinubu was right there in Nigeria, when they asked him about the money, Tinubu said that over $2.4 million that they found in his bank account in America that actually led there to this whole thing belonged to his mom, Abibatu Mogaji in Nigeria. Yeah, he said the money belonged to his mom. Money for heroin, the one they found in his wife's account, Remi Tinubu. They said the money belonged to Abibatu Mogaji, a multi-million dollars who was giving money to him. Others said, in American record, the real Bola A. Tinubu was a girl, female. The daughter to Kafaru Tinubu. There's a man called Kafaru Tinubu also. The one that they said that his daughter, who was actually the real girl who went to America and all that, was female. Anyway, Ori Olori and the rest of that. So let's cut it down. As it stands, Kolu is now saying that every of those allegations, they're not talking about him. They are talking about some other people, even though he kind of had business with them. He mistakenly lived in a house that these heroin dealers were living. And he also mistakenly opened bank accounts that the money just went in. He's not part of that and the rest, so that was why they didn't arrest him in America. So there's no record. There are records of Tinubu's criminality, and that is what is raising the dust. Pablo Escobar, president of Nigeria. Oma Lagbara go. Anyway, that is that part. This is them defending Kolu. If you want to know what they are going to be arguing in court, right? I don't want to go too much into this or INEC this, INEC that. I'm going to bore you. It's not going to be interesting. All right. So what else is there that we can touch? Let's see. As I told you, look at all of them. Look at all the son. Professor, son. 15 million per month, 15 million. Everybody they chop now. Sure you get. So as the legal battle starts, now that they are putting up a defense, yeah, we should just wait further for what the follow-up will be, I don't want to read everything. I know I want to, I told you I was going to review. Here, reviewing means I will have to be reading one by one and all that, but we still have a long night. Now here is another one. Everything else, because they also attached their evidence, okay? Everything else was clearer. The pictures were clearer. Look at your screen. The pictures clearer, sharp. When it got to the evidence, everything started becoming blurry. You have to bring out magnifying glasses, a special one to actually read anything from this. Are you with me? These are the election results. Election results, according to INEC, they are called attached, but nobody can read them. They said maybe the one they submitted to the courts will be more clearer. So their evidence is just like INEC results. They show. But now only them, they see them, they clear. If you can't see it, if you can't read it, look at this one. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah? Let's see. Can you see that? I've magnified it. See? Can you see anything? This is their result that they submitted to the tribunal. Look at it. Look at that. So you can't really read them for you to review and say, hey, Bayelsa, come and see your INEC result. Tinubu get the result. Come and check it. Look at everything. Everything they wrote. That's why people are saying that maybe they are just trying to make a jest of the courts. Are you with me? Look at this. I mean, it's bold on your screen, isn't it? Is it not so bold on your screen? I've bolded it. See? See results. Almost see result. Evidence that Tinubu win. I won the election. See result. Election result. Nigeria presidential election result. State by state. Yeah? Sorry, I think I should let you see more. This is it. I'm still scrolling, and I'm doing it very fast so that I can get to the bottom of it. And I haven't yet. Nigeria presidential election result attached to the defense of President Carlos. See election results. Man, APC mad. This is called state capture. A lot of you are going to be so alarmed. I did say that. I told you, I said, you are going to be so alarmed by the level of dishonesty, fraud, that you will be so angry that if you are allowed to do what is in your mind, there's no way that you have to do anything legal. You would have to do so many illegal things. See? Now, this is it now getting clearer. Now, I think it's clearer now. All the result not clear. But the cover, see, the cover clear. Every other thing is now clear. Everything, you can read everything now. See? What's this one? Qualification of candidates. That one is clear. See? Submission of names. Where Kalu did not present any primary school, secondary school, educational certificates. Okay? Simply because they said during his time, he was such a genius. Yeah? Such a genius that he didn't have to go to primary school or secondary school. He was homeschooled. They schooled him at home. Sure you get. So that's how he didn't have and all these are clearer, but the result not clear. Man, fraudulent place. Very fraudulent place. I mean, come on. Dishonesty. You know, one thing I ask people, right? This is just like, you know what I mean now? Like, do you know that if this is Tafa Balogun's letter? Yeah, Tafa Balogun's letter. This is the disgraced IG of police in Nigeria. the letter that, because the embassy said they couldn't find any arrest record or conviction record of Tinubu. So they are now using that same letter that has been on social media for a while. So some people are now saying that, if you like say Tinubu's lawyers, they are actually using social media argument and social media evidences. That's what they want to use to defend Tinubu. Can you believe that? Like, they are lifting content from social media to go and defend the presidential election in Nigeria. Like this letter. They didn't get it from anywhere. It's on social media. They lifted it from there. Anyway, let's say that's enough. So this is called loose defense. Sorry if my camera is short. I'm going to be back in a second, my people. Anyway, like I said, I can share the link with you if you really want to read them. I've read through them and the rest. I've seen a lot and I'm like, Elmo. So it is what it is there. The drug dealer, the drug lord is going to be your president. I know you would like to say, God forbid, or you're already saying it. Even me, I'm saying amen on your behalf. But if you want to understand what a state capture means, in your lifetime, this is what it means. It simply means that everything in Nigeria will now be under the control and command of the drug lord. They are going to employ spies. They are going to employ assassins. They're going to employ all bunch of criminals that they are going to unleash on the citizens, because the citizens will reject them, just like they are already kind of rejected, okay? But as it is right now, they don't give a damn, and they are actually, right, getting ready for use. I mean, for every one of you, I would say. And that's what state capture means. State capture is when you like, who do you run to? Who do you talk to? All they need to do is that if they want to kill people, they just make it look like an accident. Okay? If they want to incriminate you, they just have to bring up some trump-up charges. And they can do this so well, just like every corrupt and bad government will do. And they will always have partners all over the world that are willing to work with them. It's just that when people say they are fighting for their lives, I think I get you. It is worth it to actually say and tell yourself that once Kalu becomes your president in Nigeria, things are never going to remain the same anymore. Not even for, those of you who wouldn't kind of join them, it's understandable that you would probably have this mental preparation, right? You won't expect much from them or expect anything at all. And then when the award starts happening, you are kind of mentally prepared, because you are not in that position of those who feels like, that will be experiencing shock. Oh my God, I'm so disappointed. Like some people are reacting after Bukwari's failure. I'm so disappointed. I put everything inside this, but I thought Buhari was going to be different. No, it won't. So a lot of people are going to be saying the same thing to you right now. But the real war is actually not in that court. The real one is outside that court. The one that Tinubu is losing. Let's first admit that, okay? The obedient who have become their karma in this instance, as unexpected and unprepared as APC have been, so far so good. Outside their circle, outside their bubble, Tinubu, I mean, they control nowhere. And that is not going down well with them. When you go out and say, no, we didn't vote him, we didn't want a drug dealer. No, we never really, you know what I mean? When you deny him that way and you see that repeatedly and again, and they are trying to convince people to say, let's move on, and you are not willing to move on, that then puts them in a very, very bad position. A position that the self-entitled criminals don't really like. Some, on the one hand, they want to tell you that, okay, fine, you've proved your point. Okay, we'll do our best and make sure that we do the right thing. We'll take care of the youth. We will not disrespect you. We will not do this anymore. Okay, stop. Let's move on. But they know you won't. So on the other hand, they are like, you know what? They are not going to move on. They're not going to stop talking. They are still going to continue to delegitimize Tinubu. And delegitimizing Tinubu, see, some of you may not understand how powerful the level of destruction that is going to face Nigeria, the level of isolation that Nigeria is going to experience and face once Tinubu becomes your president. It is so monumental that sometimes you will think someone is wishing that on you. When I was raising an alarm, I remember then it wasn't popular, just like now. It's not popular for somebody like, for somebody to keep saying, these people are criminals, they don't mean well. Even when the mob, or let me say, when the whole crowd is kind of jumping up for them. In this regard, in 2015, I remember, these guys are criminals. How could you vote for criminals and then support criminals and expect them to do the right thing? Like, it's still kind of surprising. And I shut up your mouth. Enemy of progress. Enemy of Nigeria. Change Dole. Change for Nigeria. Buhari Oshibajo. Sai Baba. Sai Baba. Majority of you are going to Sai Japa last though. Some of you are going to Sai Payo. Some of you are going to end up in the Sai kidnapper said then, no. Shut up your mouth. Are you wishing us evil? You this guy. Enemy of Nigeria. They were calling people. See, if you look at me today and you call me enemy of Nigeria, you are not the first person to. Unfortunately, those who called me the enemies of Nigeria, or enemy of Nigeria, in 2015, majority of them are falling so bad that they don't even get strength to shout Sai Baba anymore with the shege that APC have shown you. God, somewhere even saying, God will destroy you, Maiyegun. Now God go punish you, you this Maiyegun. We are praying for our president. We are praying for Oshibajo. We are praying for this and that. They were deceiving themselves. You cannot deceive God. You can't deceive God. When you lie to yourself, or when you think you are lying and then hiding something, you are lying to yourself. You cannot deceive God. And do you know what is that God? That God is your conscience. Yeah, that's it. That's your God. It's your conscience. It's the one that will keep telling you what you did is wrong. What you did is right. When you do something wrong, and your conscience keeps saying that thing is wrong, then you keep telling yourself that you don't care. Well, you keep telling you that's your God. Your conscience. It's not someone projecting anything on you. You cannot empower criminals, oppressors, and then you expect God to just do a miracle and turn them around for you, and they start doing good. How? Where are they going to learn that from? Where is that going to be coming from? And today, instead of you to listen to me again, so many of you are still there, out there, calling me enemy of your Nigeria, enemy of your progress, enemy of your this. When Nigeria got destroyed, me that is warning you and warning you, right? When they are destroying Nigeria, and destroying the economy of Nigeria, they are actually making me richer, not because I have so much money, but because they destroyed your money that suddenly became a trash beside my money. the one that I was thinking that you also deserve in that place, but you chose criminals, you chose terrorists, you chose arsonists, you chose disruptors, destroyers, and you are defending them today. Some of you have grown so jealous. 8 years, so look at it. I keep telling people, I don't wish you evil. I don't wish you anything. I only wish you what you wish yourself. What I do on MaiyegunsDiary Politico is to try to let you understand that whatever decision you make, you may act ignorant, you may act stupid, you may act like you are smart. It doesn't really matter. For every decision you make in life, there are going to be consequences for them, good or bad. So same way if you apply the same thing to your political choice or how you relate with political office holders and yourself, right? If you put this, what do you call it? If you put this whole thing together, I mean, if you value yourself, so to say, that's what I'm trying to say. So if the system doesn't value you, and you don't value yourself and you keep empowering and empowering criminals, and they keep taking away from you and taking away from you, at the end of the day, what do you become? You become so jealous. 8 solid years when you were busy praying for your leaders. You were praying for your leaders to do the right thing. Some of you were praying for Bukwari and APC. At some point, you turn yourself to prayer warriors on social media, suffering and smiling. So when you make political decisions, just like if you make a wrong decision when you probably venture into business, right? And you make a wrong decision and you lose all your money. That's the consequences of that decision. If you invest your money and then you make more money, that is the consequences of that decision as well. Good, right? So if you apply that same thing to how you relate with those who are going to determine if you are going to have a successful business, if you are going to have a safe family, if you are going to have a safe environment, if you are going to get a job, if you use that same sentiment, that same mentality in accessing them, the same way you access your life important decisions, just maybe, or just maybe, you will reduce the consequences of electing criminals, expecting them to turn out to be good. In 8 years on this platform, MaiyegunsDiary Politico, always talking, come back home. 8 solid years. While they destroyed Nigeria, you watched me. You see me. I mean, you were watching me when I was riding Okada. Riding Keke. I was riding Keke, using my phone to show to those of you who are still back there that this place is not paradise. It's not heaven. It's nothing magical. It is just people who say they will do something, doing exactly what they said they would do. When they have the chance of doing that, changing their own environment, which in other words, changes the lives of those who are living there. I was using my keke when I was going to do cleaning. I will go on when I was working as a cleaner. So I will ride my keke, whether it is raining, whether it is sunning, whether it is snowing. On that way, sometimes I will stop by in freezing cold weather. I will be filming. I will be showing everybody, don't you deserve this in Nigeria? Don't we deserve this? Don't we deserve that? You were sitting down there. You were abusing me. You were attacking and saying all horrible things, okay? But guess what? 8 solid years, they destroyed Nigeria. And 8 years, you watched me. And you see me today. Maiyegun. Look at Maiyegun. Man, I remember when Maiyegun was in the kitchen. I remember that time that Maiyegun was always on his keke and the rest of that. Which means, I wish you well, but you probably don't wish yourselves well. You were busy giving criminals opportunity, defending them. They continue to destroy your lives, destroy your jobs, destroy your education, destroy your security, and then they turn you to prayer warriors to start praying for things that you ordinarily should have. You're praying for electricity, you are praying for good road, praying for good hospital, praying for good job, praying for good economy. You are praying. But look at me. I am not as prayerful as many of you because I don't have to be. The opportunities they have taken away from you that prompted people like us to say, every decision you make, I will pepper you. Maiyegun oju emabo, oju mi olebo. I am progressing. I'm actually progressing. A lot of people are so proud of me. A lot of people who saw me when I started. Where you are still under your phone, telling me that God will shame me. 140 million Nigerians are living in extreme poverty. 8 years of APC. That's not my fault. That affected you. Whether you are living in Nigeria or not, it's affecting every one of us, because the consequences of that is that they made the people poorer. And the people they have made poorer, they are not just Yorubas, Hausas, Igbos, Christians, everyone in every part of Nigeria. That's the consequences of that 8 months. Some of you had jobs 8 years ago when I was screaming, the lone voice. When I was screaming. Look at these guys. These guys don't mean well for you. No matter how much you try to attach to them, no matter whatever you want to say, they don't mean well for you. Whether you like them, whether you don't like them, they are all the same, and they will deal with you the same way. You thought I meant evil, and some of you still believe that today. But can you just use my life as an example to what Nigeria has done to you, the young people in Nigeria? 8 years of your life, 8 years of my life, I've seen so much progress. Trust me, I have made a lot of progress. I have progressed enough that I won't have to put a number to it. Yeah? And I have also watched Nigeria decline. I watched young people decline. A lot of them had to end up with Jackpa, with the people that promised you 3 million jobs every year. Here you get. So consequences, as they say, elections have consequences. So so don't come here and say, Maiyegun Kalu, they will swear him in and he will be successful. You are only trying to make yourself feel like it's another lottery, isn't it? You are using your lives as lottery. They are turning you into they are dipping you in poverty and more poverty. They are now weaponizing that poverty. And here you are. I mean, if you actually are those who abused me 8 years ago, you shouldn't come to MaiyegunsDiary Politico and say, I have known him for so long. That's how he's doing. He's a useless guy. He always criticizes the people. He always criticizes this and that. That means you've known me for so long, but you've actually watched your fellow Nigerians depreciated, opportunities disappeared. You've seen young people slaughtered, killed. You saw all of that in 8 years, and Nigeria economy is in tank right now. And you are still looking at Maiyegun and you're like, you this Maiyegun, you will see how God will shame you. Ashiwaju will be sworn in. Amen to your prayer. You don't know that they say life is a teacher. The more you live, the more you learn. You are never going to learn about life except you live it. You probably will never know something is worse than Bokuwari except you experience it. Now, whether you want to call it your own gamble again, in order to spite Maiyegun, no, that's so dumb. When these criminals came in that they want to come and change Nigeria, take a look at this. Look at it this way. A pound sterling was just 240 naira. And it was so good. It was 1,000 pounds, 250,000 naira, almost money. In 8 years, that 1 pound is over 960 naira today. They destroyed Nigeria, and that's what I'm saying to you. And the destruction of Nigeria have its victims. The victims are not, they are not those who didn't support Bokuwari alone. Even those who supported the APC are still supporting them today. They are victims of this. And the victims are now, the victims are, or let me say, these victims are not limited to whether they are Christians or they are Muslims, they are Northerners or Southerners, they are Easterner, Igbos, or, no, everybody is collecting. A lot of you are just trying to wish it away. So I wish you what you wish yourself. Remember that. Now, Kalu, when they swear for Kalu, the following are going to be the next move.
We have got the opportunity to serve again for additional 4 years. And Nigerians will know the difference.
Here you get. So, going back to Nigeria, where the obedient, as they say, they're not going to go away. Yeah? Now, let me give you this. Chimamanda Adichie was in Nigeria. And, well, she's still in Nigeria. Their Daura or Dokwemu stupid service, they are yet to strike. And some people are saying that, oh yeah, now go and arrest her now on their Arise television, right? Let's listen. Arise News owns this clip. The credit goes to them.
I still do. I have a lot of love for Professor Soyinka. I admire him. I respect him as a thinker, as a writer. I think everyone should read The Man Died. And Ake, his memoir, is beautiful, right? But at the same time, I disagree very strongly with him about this particular issue. And actually, because I respect Professor Soyinka so much, I went back and watched the interview. I had watched it when it aired initially, but I went back and watched it because I thought, am I missing something? And I think fascist is a really strong word. You know, fascist actually often makes me think of Mussolini's Italy. But I think we use it now, you know, sort of to address this kind of authoritarianism that's often populist and right-wing, you know, like in Hungary, and even the former American president. And when you look at those situations, you can see why they have been termed fascist. And I did not see any reason that Mr. Dati Baba Ahmed's interview would have been termed fascist. You know, I think he was making a very strongly felt point about the elections. What he was saying, which again I thought seemed fairly reasonable, is that if our democracy is rooted in our constitution, and you then swear in a person who's been elected unconstitutionally, then you are in fact ending democracy. I think it's quite a reasonable position. Of course, we can argue about what that bit in the Constitution means, right? And I'm actually grateful for this whole election period because it's made me read things I probably never would have, such as the Nigerian Constitution, and also made me have quite a few suggestions for editing. But anyway, I think now we're talking about what does "and" mean, right? So Mr. Dati Baba Ahmed is saying that it's, you know, 2/3 and the FCT, and that's separate. And it's a reasonable argument. You know, "and" is a conjunction. We use it in that context often to mean plural, right? So we say Aisha and Yemi are coming. And we don't say Aisha and Yemi is coming. That's because they're two separate things, two separate entities. And of course, the court will interpret. But I don't think it's unreasonable for educated Nigerians who can read and who know what the word "and" means to make their own interpretations and to argue it. And of course, the fact that the Labour Party is in court means that they do not believe that this election is constitutional. And so I just didn't, I didn't quite see why it would be termed fascist. I mean, we could, I think a charitable way of reading Professor Soyinka's comment is that Professor Soyinka himself, I think it's fair to say that he is not given to restraint in language in general. And so maybe that's where that word fascist came from. However, I have suggestions for what we could use fascist for. We could use fascist for INEC, because as it is right now, many Nigerians feel deeply cheated by INEC, deeply disenfranchised by INEC. And there's an authoritarianism, which obviously is the basis of fascism, at the center of manipulating an election. Because what you're doing is you're gagging people, you're forcibly taking away their voice. That is fascist. Fascist is all of the violence that happened during the elections. Fascist is the way that some people remain silent about that violence. Fascist is, fascist is a government that hasn't come out to address the very tangible and palpable discontent in this country. I think that, and when I say that we can use fascist for INEC, what I mean is the fact that, so many of us, including myself, are convinced that this was not in any way technological glitch. I think that Professor Yakubu had an opportunity for heroism, and I think he wasted it spectacularly. Because he could very easily have become the hero of not just Nigerians, but Africa, because so many Africans are watching. They were so inspired by what happened before this election and the obedient movement. And so, I also think that the president, President Buhari, missed an opportunity for heroism, maybe his last chance at heroism, because Nigerians do not feel that I think Nigerians felt before the elections that he meant well and meant to support credible elections. I don't think many Nigerians think that now. Right. And I wish that he had taken a page from the former president.
Very briefly, because we're out of time.
He was a really good man, a moral man.
Right. Just literally 10 seconds. The opposition parties are challenging the election in court. Do you think they'll get a fair hearing?
I hope they will. I think there's reason to doubt that because the Supreme Court has had rulings that just did not make a lot of sense to most people. And so there's reason to worry, but I'm hopeful. I'm generally hopeful. So I'm optimistic that they will do.
Did you hear that? Because the Supreme Court has made some judgment that, you know what I mean? He said that he's in Lagos. Some people are like, no, he's not in Nigeria. No, he's in Lagos. I'm sorry, she's in Lagos, rather. Their studio ahead, it's in Abuja. So she joined them from Lagos. And she told it to their faces. It's not wrong. If you see something that is wrong, and because some people felt like it's going to be offensive to them, even though it is unconstitutional. Which constitution are you talking about? 1999 constitution. Okay. But she said it to their faces. Yeah. You guys are committing crime. And anybody that says that to you, you can't threaten them with treason. You can't threaten them with all this manner of illegalities too. Not everybody you go threaten per se. Anyway, she had more. Let me add that too, just before we go to the next thing.
While at the same time endorsing something that is quite self-evidently undemocratic.
Well, that's a good point. But just delving deeper into your letter, you were quite categorical in saying that the electoral process was imperiled not by technical shortcomings, but by deliberate manipulation. Is there enough evidence in your assessment to support that claim?
Yes, and I think maybe the most glaring is that we Nigerians all saw these mutilated election sheets, right? We all saw them. We saw polling unit agents talking about how what they had from the polling unit was not what was then announced formally, officially, or uploaded formally, officially. And I think for me, that's a really striking reason and an example of how this election was not about technical glitches. And can we also realize that Nigeria is full of very bright young people in tech? There's no reason for that excuse of technical glitch. And the other question then is, if it was a technical glitch, why was it possible for most people to upload the results of the other federal elections, but not the presidential? And I think most of all is that there's just been this resounding, unfortunate silence from INEC and from the chair of INEC. I think Nigerians deserve the respect of an institution that's supposed to shepherd their democracy. So nobody's come out to explain to Nigerians how that happened. There's a statement about technical glitches. It's unconvincing. And knowing how much hope and trust that Nigerians invested in this election, knowing that Nigeria is a low-trust society, means, I think, that if people really are sincere and there's really nothing to hide, then you make an extra effort to go out and explain to Nigerians what happened.
Yes, that certainly makes a lot of sense to a...
You get that? So there is this saying, one momento. I was like, Have you ever thought, like, if INEC just uploaded the result as they promised, right? This is, when you calm down, neutrality you explain in constant, you are still pushing para. Maybe everything person they take para. Calm down. This is a direct one, okay? Have you ever imagined that all this problem, all this distrust, disbelief, and all that, they wouldn't have arisen if INEC had followed his own rule? You know that, like, you go out there to go and vote. Once you finish voting, they use their beavers, take your picture, take everything, upload the result. And everybody inside your room, you can begin to see as the results are coming on, just like you see them on BBC, CNN, when we are doing a UK election, when they are doing the German election, even when they are doing the Chinese election, American election, you can see how the votes are coming and from where. That's the beauty of technology. That is what Nigeria paid 41 billion naira for. Imagine if INEC had allowed everybody, like from Sokoto to Kano to Bayelsa to Oyo to Lagos, everywhere. No violence, no nothing. Everybody just go there, and once they finished, they upload all the results. Don't you think there will be none of this distrust? And don't you think that is even better if that was done? Have you ever thought of that? Instead of you telling people to move on, they should just move on, Jari. Let's move on, Joe. Don't let them kill you. Don't let them kill you. They will kill you because you expect them to be killed for saying, no, you have cheated us. No, you cheated us. You cheated us. You changed the rules of the game during the game. You moved the goalpost during the match. That's unfair. And then you go for them, you want to kill them. So even if you are supporting Kolu, won't it be so clear that if Kolu won for real, no argument, everybody don't see him. They didn't shut down presidential portal to upload results. Let's say they didn't shut that down. Same way people were able to upload House of Reps and all of that. Let's say they were able to upload all the presidential too. Do you think the obedient will be this angry? Have you ever thought of that? That if they did it that way, even though it may not be perfect, okay, I'm not saying perfect. Perfect. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if they just followed what they said they would do with 41 billion naira that they collected for it, she will not go save ourselves all this stress. The obedient said if that was done and Obi lost, and they have seen that true, you know what I mean? People were not attacked, people were not, killed, prevented from voting. Let's say all of that didn't happen. Everybody just go and do their thing. And the result starts coming in. The obedience said they will walk away. That time they will move on to go and do it again. But the problem is that a lot of you are justifying the rigging. Don't you get it? Because you expected them to be rigged. So you are justifying it by repeating what the riggers are saying. They don't even have structure. They don't have this. I mean, if INEC had allowed everybody to upload their result as they promised you, no wala, no anything, no. She go did these things. Okay. Follow this. What this the bishop, should I call them bishop or what have you? They have this to add to it. Supreme Court should decide on the election before inauguration, or else they will throw Nigeria into, well, let him say it himself. Say it.
They were all admonished, begged to conduct a decent election without telling lies against each other and even without saying bad things about one another. However, what happened? Most of them did nothing but doing everything possible to discredit their opponents. They pulled out all kinds of things, both true and false. So hate speech became normal. Before the elections, as part of a campaign, because maybe that could be could be we could pardon them that as well. They say when you are fighting a war, you use every weapon at your disposal. Unfortunately, the hate speech is a bad weapon because it harms everybody. One would have thought that after the election, we will begin to clear up the mess of the hate speech. But unfortunately, because of the way the election went, it has generated even other levels of anger, acrimony, mostly unspoken. But a few people have spoken out, and we are beginning to see this kind of thing. We cannot forget that during the election itself, some characters are reported to have actually mentioned certain ethnic groups by name, that you should not vote this, but you could not vote that people, and bad things were said about Nigerians. We thought that after the election we can now sit down and clean our mess. Unfortunately, like I said, the election is not over yet, and I think that is why some people still continue this game of what is hate speech. For some people, hate speech means whatever you say about me that I don't like. But suppose what I say about you is true. Is it hate speech? Government agencies especially are always ready to say there's hate speech when what somebody has said is what different from what the government wants to hear. But government doesn't listen to many people who think that government themselves also spew out hate speech in the way they talk about certain issues. Maybe we should learn to be patient with one another, but also to consider the sensitivities of people when we make statements, especially those whose statements are supposed to be taken very seriously. My feeling is that until this thing is over, until the court cases are settled, and especially the presidential court case is settled, it will not be easy for us to do anything more than simply begging people, or maybe and us trying to restrain ourselves the way we talk about things. I've always told people, once you begin to generalize, you have started to tell a lie. These Igbos, these Yorubas, these Hausas, these Kaba people, there's no such thing. Everybody is himself. And we should be able to see the good people and appreciate them. Not if you see a bad person, correct him if you can. And then we can move around. I must say, Rena, my daughter, may God bless her, we just finished seeing this social media. He brought out the beautiful Easter message of my colleague and brother, Matthew Kuka, who repeated something that I said at the end of the last session, namely about that the justices of the Supreme Court have to answer to their conscience and God. Because those are the only people they have to answer to now. They don't answer to anybody else. They have to answer to their conscience and their God. I want to say that that is very true, but it's also true of everybody.
Yeah, somebody said that even the priests are being careful. They can't come out and speak the truth in public. They can't. And that's why they are all sounding ambiguous as well. You know what I mean? Like, kind of being sneaky about it. They can't say straight away the whole country is living in fear. And it's actually the fear of unknown. And you don't know what side you're going to end up at. And all sides are brutal. But he easily just said we just have to keep begging people. But he was right. It is not over. And it doesn't seem that it's going to be it's not going to be over anytime soon. I'm taking you to that juicy part again. But before then, let me add this. Then we'll come back to this election matter. Dino Melaye, Clownery Dino versus Wike. talk day and a plenty, but we're coming to that. First, these guys are insisting that there should not be any inauguration next month. There will be none because it will be illegal, unconstitutional, and they don't want Nigeria to bump into an unconstitutional crisis. Well, anyway, see.
We are not unaware of the actions of conscienceless individuals held bent on imposing a regime of distrust and rancor on Nigeria, and to call on them to desist forthwith. We cannot continue to water the lawns of emotional cannibals who raise and rise to power on the blood of ordinary Nigerians. The recent comments by Professor Wale Soyinka is the most unfortunate and regrettable. While we do not frown at his remarks because of any political party or politicians or movement referenced, we do so because of his emotionless detour from the real issues of the elections to pursue what appears as selective witch hunt. It is on record that Professor Wale Soyinka never condemned the shameless episode of ethnic profiling, intimidation, and hate speech by elements such as Musilimu Akinsonya, aka MC Oluomo, Bayo Ononuga, FF Kayode, and a host of other atrocious persons. All their actions are not fascist, nor did he condemn Professor Mahmoud Yakubu's instance of flaunting INEC's guidelines, the Electoral Act, and his rush to declare a winner. It is sad that when it matters the most, the voice of our dear Prof, whose books and thoughts form the basis of academic pursuit by some, should breathe reason on the polity, he chose to stand with the oppressor in a burning house, enjoying a rat chase. The Prof should be a father to all Nigerians, irrespective of ethnicity, religion, party, or social affiliation. However, he has betrayed the trust of many Nigerians who before now hold him in high esteem. Yeah. We therefore call for the boycott of his books, yes! Articles and events, yes! And all public engagements, yes! That celebrate his literary achievements, which as of today do not recognize the well-being of the ordinary Nigerian. Yes. Yeah. We need role models, not sellouts. Yes! The international community, especially Europe and America, must understand that despite the prescribed neutrality based on diplomatic ethics, will be the most affected if anything happens to Nigeria's democracy. The weight of human energy that will mob your borders will be as never imagined. We frown at the rush of most of the diplomatic communities to congratulate INEC's president-elect select. This action will further embolden the ponderers of the will of Nigerians to hold onto the stolen victory. We therefore call for discretion forthwith. Finally, may we reinstate our commitment to a united, democratic, prosperous Nigeria. We are moved by this commitment to call for answers to the evil of 1st of March, 2023, a very traumatic moment in our history. For that day, the sanctity of what should ordinarily be a free and fair process was buried in the sands of impunity. That declaration by Professor Yaqub Mahmoud remains a dark moment in our history. Little wonder the nation responds with mourning. Our country has been on a perilous journey since then. We call on all Nigerians, including the judiciary, to rise up and save Nigeria. For saving Nigeria is a collective toil. Let Nigeria win. Freedom cometh by struggle. Freedom come by struggle, by struggle. Freedom come by struggle, by struggle. Freedom come by struggle, by struggle. Freedom come.
What shall I say unto the Lord?
Yes, Lord.
All I have to say,
Thank you, Lord.
what
shall I say? Thank you,
We can deliver, we can deliver. We buy ye can deliver. We can deliver.
Thank you, Lord. In everything, just thank God. In my own world, my grandfather of blessed memory would say, in everything, just thank God. Or in other words, in any situation you find yourself, no matter how tough life is, my brother, I beg, chopo. Any problem you may be facing, just make sure you eat. You see, anytime you are unable to eat, that itself is a big problem. I'm speaking from experience. And when you have a chance, don't take this life too serious. Like some people would want to. Laugh too. And that is why, in the middle of this ulabalu, bulaba, balabulu, I think we deserve a break of laugh. A little bit. It's not funny anyway, but I mean, something that can kind of bring your mood back from this election, that, because now the issue of election too, and this time around is between Wike and Keneri Dino. Now Wike first serve. You know when you go and play ping pong, table tennis, somebody go first serve. Wike served. Keneri Dino dapada like 3 times. You know, person they say, I think they don't bring waiting I love. Something we say I love, they don't bring them. They don't bring my favorite food. Oh, that's how Dino has been since yesterday. Why? Dino pasted a poster. He wants to be the next governor of Kogi after Yeye Bello. I mean, now. Now death make crayfish bend. Now death make fish, kind of bend. Keneri Dino was one of those. He was the spokesperson for Yeye Bello. In 2015 or so, or 2015. He was in APC then. It was the world screaming everywhere. We don't want Lagos landlord to come and impose anybody on us. We don't want this in APC before they left. The first person that Yeye Bello dealt with was Keneri Dino. Dino man. They beat Dino like say Dino native. In one of the occasions, Dino ran and he hid on the tree. He said he was running away from his kidnappers, Yeye Bello people that kidnapped him. That he had to hide on a tree for 3 days. No food, no water. 3 days. He was hiding from Yeye Bello people. The person way bring it to power. Anyway, we all know that Keneri Dino will actually swim in the mud if he's allowed. Whether you allow him or not, he will swim in the mud. Where the Wike will dance naked in the market. All he requires is just the music. So the two Were that met themselves, when they met, it was like Esprit de Corps. Yeah? Where is Wike?
a wire. Oh, you talk about that in a wire. How many them there? Why we no go read them? How many them there? Why we no go read them? How many them there? Why we no go read them? How many them? How many them there? Why we no go read them? How many them there? Why we no go read them? How many them? Some people think say you dey do juju. Are you dey do juju? Hold on. If this is a joke, they will never go free. Them dey bone face oh yeah, that would them dey bone face for. Easy body yeah, you're so wicked they walk oh. You know, as I'm watching you on television now, they blame them. That is all. And they sweet
Oṣó ni, àjẹ́ ni, ẹlẹ́bọlóògùn ni, amọ́niṣẹ́ni ni, afàìmọ́niṣẹ́ni ni, wọ́n á fi yín sílẹ̀.
Amen. Kọlu. Your own.
Alhamdulillah. 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 Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Alhamdulillah Rabbil
He don't cast, that's last. Everybody go chop breakfast. He don't cast, that's last. Everybody go chop breakfast. He don't cast, that's last. Everybody go chop breakfast. He don't cast, that's last. Everybody go chop breakfast. He don't cast, that's last. Everybody go chop breakfast. He don't cast, that's last. Everybody go chop breakfast. He don't cast, that's last. Everybody go chop breakfast. He don't cast, that's last.
Sorry about that. I had to do some quick fix, okay? So yeah, Canary Dino and with a Wike. Now Wike first serve said Canary Dino. They are talking about people who won't be governor. Dino self won't be governor. This is not funny. With a Wike.
If what they are planning happens in Kogi State, where they are toying, they are giving opportunity to Dino Melaye. And this is what I tell people. You started to fail first. When you give Dino that ticket, you know he won't win in Kogi State. And then why would Kogi people say they will vote for a candidate like Dino?
It's from Kogi West.
Are we joking?
He's an indigene of the state.
Oh, please.
And it's from Kogi West.
With due respect to all of us. I mean, they may find that you are from Kogi, therefore any Kogi person. No, that's not the truth. This is what we do. When they are going for, you are talking about governance of a state. And we are not talking about drama. You know what we are talking about? We're talking about governance of a state. For Christ's sake, PDP presents such a candidate, and you mean that Kogi people want development? You see, let us stop this idea that it's from Kogi. It's okay. Take, for example, anybody from Lagos State, because election, then Lagos people will just go and vote for him because you're from Lagos. I mean, that can't be serious.
Are you saying Dino doesn't have?
Dino does not have what it takes. For Christ's sake. For crying out loud. What is he going to do? He knows me very well. He knows.
What disqualifies him?
He does not have what it takes to be a governor at all. It's not by coming to add drama on television. No, it's not that. It's not by coming to arise to abuse the Wike. It's not that. It's not that. Look, ask Dino when he's saying we're running for governorship. Saraki brought him to me. Ask him. He knows what I'm talking about. He knows. How can you tell me such persons will be governor?
Tell us what happened.
I've just ended that. I've said he's watching. He knows. Let him come and let him know.
So he's watching.
He's watching.
Distinguished Senator Saraki brought him to you.
Yes.
And he said he wanted to be governor.
You know,
then what happened?
I'll let him come out and then I'll go to the.
Sure. In fact, I don't know, maybe it's just me. If not because the Agbas caught my attention, Wike seems to be completely off the picture now. Nobody is really interested in whatever he has to say anymore. I don't know if it's just me. Is it just me or just, I don't know. I used to listen to him for his entertainment, you know, like when he's... But now, that is a good way to start a fight. And I wouldn't miss that for anything. I mean, come on. Wike called the Dino, Canary Dino. Like that one is here. In 2019, 2019, Canary Dino said he wanted to be governor of Kogi. Was it 2019? Okay, all right. Well, he didn't make it. He didn't make it. Dino, what says you? Replying with a Wike. Let's hear Dino. Dino has his own response, which starts with this. Okay, Akoko, first. Dino Melaye said, Wike is angry because he didn't help him. Yeah? To beg Atiku to make him vice president instead of Okowa. And that is why Wike is misyanning and he doesn't like him. But he promised him this.
Governor Wike was my biggest sponsor.
Already he's on his way to prison. In fact, Wike's prison uniform will have embroidery because of the way he has stolen the resources and patrimony of the Rivers people. And I am sitting down here. Any other interview, if he will not wash his hands out of Kogi State and leave Dino Melaye alone, if someone like Yaya Bello and Wike can become governor, then you are saying the intellectually mobile fine boy Dino cannot be governor. How? Me and Wike, we are poles apart. Poles apart in everything, every ramification. I'm not his mate. He can only be older than me. I'm not proud of him as a governor. A governor who wears blue on yellow, yellow on green, at times purple, who does not have a dress sense, who does not know what the time is globally today. I'm a town boy. I know what it is. I know what time it is. And I've got something upstairs. So I'm just warning him, make it stay for in lane, If you do gra, don't they talk to people, then they do. If you do gra, come my own side, me I go grind them, I go do skit for them, I go sing for them, I go release album for them. On daily basis, I will finish him. So make it just stay where God put them. Kogi no be rivers. Go and see people in their thousands came out in Kogi State, the commoners in Kogi States. The real people who are the voters of Kogi State came out and they were clamoring for Dino should be their governor. So if some people, there's a lot of poverty in town now. I've been influenced financially to come and say they are not supporting Dino. It is let them collect the money and eat now. There's no imposition by the PDP. The processes are being followed. And it will be followed to a logical conclusion. Why are they afraid of Dino?
If you have their delegate list, agreed.
But it is not them that conducts delegate election. It is the party that conducts delegate election. And you cannot oppose your wish on the party. The party will only report what happens on the field. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. The party will run. That is what is happening. Why are they afraid? Even before the referee blow whistle, you are already complaining. Even I'm speaking with you now, the delegate list is not out. Some people have gone to court already. Ahead of the delegate list. They've not even seen the delegate list and they have gone to court. And the person who went to court, his name is on the delegate list. And all this is Wike, being propelled by Wike, saying he will spend his money in Kogi to make sure that Dino does not emerge. Anybody but Dino. Are you not surprised that Yaya Bello and Wike have the same tangential, they have the same motive? But unfortunately for them, I am used to taming lions, whether black lion or white lion, whether in the forest, on the water, on the sea. My specialty is to tame lions, and I will tame both Wike and Abelu. I will. I am Dino Melaye. I'm a Daniel.
I told you, I need to lighten the room. I need to lighten your mood. And the only two clowns that could do the job for me very well, without me doing much, Canary Dino and Were Wike, the two combo to bad. Listen to the part where he said he begged him. He called him 19 times in 2 hours. So Wike called Dino 19 times to help him beg Atiku. Listen to this one. Let's see if that's
government, because already he's on his way to prison. In fact, Wike's prison uniform will have.
Governor Wike was my biggest sponsor. Governor Wike was my biggest supporter to the tunes of hundreds of thousands of dollars. He supported my primaries. He did not just support my primaries. Wike provided his private jet to drop me in Kogi in Obajana airstrip on the day of my primaries. And he was calling me every minute, to find out, where are we? Have we succeeded? So meaning that Wike saw something in me in 2019 when he supported me. He knew I was a gubernatorial material. He knew I was fit to be governor. Hence, his investment or support, as the case may be. So what now happened between 2019 and 2023?
That's the question.
That you are now saying that I'm not fit to be a governor. Somebody you have spent your money on, somebody you supported materially and otherwise, but suddenly because I'm not a bootlicker, suddenly because I refuse to participate in your very myopic and intellectually stagnant presidential ambition, you now see me, understand, as one not fit for governorship. You now start using foul languages on my person.
So this is about 2023 election?
Yeah, I'm saying that.
No, the fight between both of you is because of the last election?
Everyone in this country, including yourself, knows that once Wike does not entertain second opinion. And that is why you can see that even lawyers who are taking their evidence to court have been barricaded, violently destroying their materials. He abhors opposition. He cannot stand opposition. That's why he has even gone to court to try to stop opposition from participating in the election. That is why people are hired people will go to INEC and block and barricade INEC from others coming to lay their complaints or get their evidence or get certified true copies of what they are demanding for. That is typical some Wike for you. Yeah, and Nigerians, if you give me a minute, Nigerians should not also be fooled. Let me tell you this. Wike will come and tell you. Anyway, he's not even getting that right. Apparently, he didn't go to a nursery school, so he has problem with his vowels. He calls it integrity. So that is integrity. Justice, equity, that is always clamoring. He doesn't possess 1% of it. When he will come and tell you he wants the southern presidency, that is why he's fighting. But that is a bogus lie. Wike wanted to be vice presidential candidate to Atiku. Wike called me 19 times in 2 hours when Atiku was going to mention his vice presidential candidate. Lobbying me with everything possible to influence Atiku to announce him as the vice president. I have witnesses.
Sure, you get what I said earlier? The two perfect combo. But now let's leave the joke apart now. Did you hear where he said, will the Wike get private jets? Hey, you're long about. I know that if Tinubu has about 3 top, what is it they call that thing? Can they call stream? Something stream. They get all this new aircraft like that. They will call them something shy. Anyway, I haven't gotten to that stage yet, flying private jets. When I start flying private jets, I'll begin to know the names. Gulfstream. Something Gulfstream. It'd be like Obokun lawyer for plane. You know, plane that is like sport plane. This guy has that, and we could tell. But will the Wike self get private jets? Hey, when somebody told me that Ibikunle Amusun, being governor of Ogun State, he bought himself as well a private jet too. Ha. governor private jets. Hey! Anyway, he said that before trailer passed their midst. And I believe him. Do you know something? Everything Dino said about Wike, I believed him. Everything Wike said about Dino, I believe him too. I believe both of them. You know why? They can't lie about one another. They can exaggerate, but everything they said about themselves is true. Don't try to give an excuse and say, no, it's just... Don't do that. Don't. When they tell you who they are, believe them. Don't kind of try to make it up and all that, all right? Now let's go back to, okay. I wish the two of them can just meet. Like Obino's wife and Bianca. Those who know them very well said, Obino's wife and Bianca, they no degree. Somehow, when a chance presented itself, what's that guy? What's that woman's name? What's Obino's name again? Obino's name. I mean, Obino's wife's name. Obiageli, what's her name? That woman. I wish Dino and Wike can just meet. Okuku settle man to man. Like these people settled their own a year ago. Woman to woman in Oka.
Hey! You are a bitch.
You get that? You're a bitch. Hey, you're a bitch. You know? Just bring Dino and Wike together. And they just face themselves. Be like, Dino will just be like that. And then Wike will just be like, you know what I mean? And you just, settle it once and for all, but they won't do that. Let me show you again. It was like that, like, I'm feeling too warm here. Is that Bianca sitting over there? Yeah, that's Bianca. That's the wife of our leader, this or that. Okay. I think I'm hungry for a kind of a slap. The wife of a governor stood up. Did they look by Baju, look by Bati? They can't hold your head. Wife of governor. They do swearing in for another governor. This was a year, 1 month ago. I wish they could do this again.
Idiot. Hey! You are a bitch.
I don't go agree. How can you slap me like that? Slap me. Everybody come they say, Madam, sorry. Go and sit down. Madam, sorry. Another said that Iberi was drunk. They say she's drunk. And that's why they said she was actually like kind of, I'm like, oh no. I was going to try and see if they're going to the woman fight and all that. But more rich people deserve the fight. If you take some people out of gutter, but you may not be able to take the gutter out of them. You understand what I mean? So a lot of people who actually don't like her husband, okay? They easily accuse her of being a drunk, a very good drinker, so to say. And on such occasion, you wouldn't expect her to be that drunk. It doesn't really matter anyway. That was a year ago, okay? And we look forward to any sort of a replay, maybe some other time. Now, let's go back to where the drama was ongoing. Remember, Tinubu is replying to this man. And since he made this statement, right, of course.
The election that we just witnessed have been conducted and results announced as programmed. It is a clear version from electoral rules and guidelines as we were promised. This election did not meet the minimum standard expected of a free, transparent, credible, fair election. It will go down as one of the most controversial elections ever conducted in Nigeria. The good and hardworking people of Nigeria have again been robbed by our supposed leaders whom they trusted. However, let me humbly and most respectfully appeal to all Nigerians to remain peaceful, law-abiding, and conduct themselves in most responsible manner. Please be assured that Daddy and I, and indeed all of us, this is not the end, but the beginning of the journey for a birth of new Nigeria. Daddy, Baba Ahmed, and I remain absolutely undaunted and deeply committed to the project of a new Nigeria that will be built on honesty, transparency, fairness, justice, equity. All the above starts with the process. The process through which people come into office is far more fundamental, more important than what they do thereafter. It's my belief, and I've maintained so consistently, that if you must answer His Excellency, the process through which you arrive to office must be excellent. We must now require that we do the right things in order to generate the required confidence and moral authority to lead. As you know, the destruction of a society begin and gradually progress when we act rascally or with deliberate manipulation of the rule of law and suppression of the will of the people. During my campaign process, I said that we will govern by the rule of law because we know what not doing that will bring about. And that's why we insisted that. Let me reiterate. And I assure you that good people of Nigeria that will explore all legal and peaceful action to reclaim our mandate.
And that is the genesis of all this you are witnessing now. I don't know how strong Obi is, or those who are his allies. And then but I have seen the resilience of you, the obedience. I have seen it all. I have seen you strangulate the oppressors without touching them. I have heard them scream. I have heard them kind of a cry in agony, screaming of what you have done to them, even though you haven't touched them physically. You have scared them so much that they are harming for war. Yet, you are harmed with your phones and your talent. The one that you use in digging old content that they would not want anybody to actually see en masse. You are doing all of this and they call that attack on them. They call you fascist and the rest. This is bigger. I can say this, I don't have a full clue. But I can imagine it. And imagining it can actually help me to understand what is coming. Because there are pieces that you can put together that will give you a kind of a lead way that when things like what happened to Peter Obi in London last week, when things like that happen, you don't tend to express so much surprise or shock. You just kind of see, oh, maybe, just maybe, this can help others to understand what deep state truly means, right? And how they work. Even when you think they are doing too much or they are going extreme to the extreme, they will go and they will do anything and everything, legal and illegal, and I mean mostly illegal, to tame any threat to their power. In this instance, even though they control the courts, even though they control almost everything, they are still so scared of somebody who doesn't control anything, but enjoying the will or the support of the people who are the victims of the likes of Tinubu and co. Yes, they will do anything. I mean, it sounds ridiculous. The guy himself won't talk about it yet, and I wish he does, because he can actually help. So let you understand that somebody might sound ridiculous, or it might look ridiculous. Nothing looks ridiculous to these criminals. Even when it looks ridiculous, they can legitimize it. Or what sense does this actually make? Peter Obi has been in the UK and he's been in the news. He's been all over the UK media, the UK everywhere, yeah? The UK intelligence agency and the rest of them, they know about him. The UK immigration knows about him. It's not just any or anybody, just anyone. Then if somebody says that there is a report by his own spokesperson that he was handed a detention paper, a presidential candidate in Nigeria. Hello? It is not a coincidence. So I wish they would be able to dig more, but I'm not going to do this on speculation, okay? Who does this? Who did this and why? Alone. I am just going to say the fact that it happened at all is enough to tell you that those who are singing back in Nigeria that he must be arrested, he must be jailed, he must be taking an all manner of different threats coming his way. What if they're actually doing it internationally too? Or how does this even make any sense? That Nigeria issued a passport to another Nigerian, and the name, the date of birth, which means the age, and every detail on that passport is replica of every detail on Peter Obi's passport. Hello? That the UK immigration now stopped Peter Obi based on duplication allegation. Duplication, which means, yes, Peter Obi is standing here. He's got his passport, he's got his visa, he's got everything, right? Now he's waiting to be cleared to enter the UK, but rather than that happening, he was actually under the detention paper, and they took him away from the crowd. And when the crowd started reacting like, are you mad? Do you know who you are holding? What is going on here? They said, we're sorry. We are holding this man because we suspect that he's using somebody else's identity. On our data, there is already a Peter Obi that we are looking for in the UK. He has been committing so many crimes, some of them high crimes, and this Peter Obi that we are seeing here, we need to take him in and check if it's not the Peter Obi we are looking for. Really? Oma? That is the new one. Okay? So, you can do with that whatever you think. But don't be surprised and start acting funny when you hear a breaking news. They have done so and so. Peter Obi arrested because of so and so, and you begin to act like, when? This is how they always do this. We don't know what they have for him, and I do hope that since he has the obedience, he has you, and it is so organic and it's so real that I would say that's even enough. That's what some people say, well, that's enough if you have us. But to others who are standing up, indeed, of course, they know the trick, they know the game, so they're also firing back. If you inaugurate Kolu, we don't care what you're going to do to us. We don't care what you want to do or what you plan to do to us. But you are never going to find peace. Just like this guy said. Like, take a look.
Please permit us to read that. Observers for the Nigerian General Election 2023, having observed the presidential and national assembly elections in Imo State, wish to use this medium to express dissatisfaction with the outcome of the National Assembly elections, especially the Imo North Senatorial election in Okigwe local government area. The Imo North Senatorial District comprises of the following 6 local government areas. That's Obowu, Ihituboma, Ehimembano, Onimo, Okigwe, and Isialambano. As INEC accredited foot soldiers and electoral process stakeholders, we are miffed by the results turned out by INEC as winners and losers in that electoral contest. To the best of our knowledge and understanding, the result of the Imo North Senatorial District as declared by INEC runs completely contrary to the number of accredited registered voters visible collected results at the polling units and the collection centers. Worse still, wards and communities numbering about 7 had no elections there. Available cases in question are words like Awobu, Aku, Amuro, Ihube, Omowa, Ogi.
My respected colleagues,
the House of Representatives.
It's actually more I could actually share with you in this on this as well tonight, but I'm going to call it tonight. I know I was going to take calls, but I'm like, no, we'll start with this. Then we're going to do another bigger one, and then I'm going to do another bigger one where a lot of us are really going to. But the bottom line is this, okay? The legal battle have started. It's set to go now. We are just going to wait for another few days when you will begin to see the tribunal sitting and the argument flying. Now, you can count on MaiyegunsDiary, Politico, especially now they are talking about streaming it live. When the tribunal goes live, MaiyegunsDiary, Politico will go live too. I'll see you some other time. Thank you very much. And then currently we have over 4,000 of us on YouTube. Thank you for always, okay? I wish I could take you longer tonight, but I am going to be here with you tomorrow, okay? So you can, before you leave, like this broadcast, share it. You can subscribe too if you haven't. And if you have done all of that, you don't need to do them again, okay? I will see you next time. Good night.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
MaiyegunDiary, Maiyegun number 1.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
MaiyegunDiary, Maiyegun number 1.
Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú.
MaiyegunDiary, Maiyegun number 1.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
MaiyegunDiary, Maiyegun number 1.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí.
MaiyegunDiary, Maiyegun number 1.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
MaiyegunDiary, Maiyegun number 1.
Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Maiyegun máa wí.
MaiyegunDiary, Maiyegun number 1.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
MaiyegunDiary, Maiyegun number 1.
MaiyegunDiary, Diary Politico.
MaiyegunDiary, Maiyegun number 1.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun.
MaiyegunDiary, Maiyegun number 1.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
MaiyegunDiary, Maiyegun number 1.
Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
MaiyegunDiary, Maiyegun number 1.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Presido bá rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ìgò gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní èsúra jù.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń gba rìbá.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní èsúra jù.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin òwò.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní èsúra jù.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní èsúra jù.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀súnra kì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o, Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀.